Welcome to Filmoscopy, a podcast where three individuals from three different media generations will hopefully stick their proverbial cameras up a film's ass and give you three entertaining and hopefully intelligent diagnoses of what they think about it. Let's introduce ourselves. I am Lance, your host.
I am Owen.
And I am Cody.
We're talking about 1971's Duel. First off, before we go any further, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Not, a fake ID or like, hey, I'm a mass murderer. But go ahead, Cody. You start for yours. Like, what do you like? Your genre, what stuff you like? That kind of thing.
So typically, I prefer horror movies, or I don't know. I guess I like some dramas. I'm not big on action movies. It's got to have some level of suspense. My adrenaline gets pumping from being afraid of something instead of watching a bunch of large explosions happen.
Yeah, so you're not a big Michael Bay fan.
No.
All right, Owen.
I like artsy-fartsy movies, I guess. I don't know. I like the classics, I like the classics. I don't know. I like a little bit of everything. It don't really matter to me.
I like movies made by Woody Allen and George Lucas.
The master.
And Rian Johnson. Especially Rian Johnson. I really love The Last Jedi.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
I mean, I have to agree. Star Wars Episode 2, just a masterpiece.
Episode 1, even better. Really, this is what this podcast is about. It's just about
our appreciation for Rian Johnson and George Lucas.
The prequels and the new trilogy. That's all this is about.
But specifically Episode 8.
I have to rank it 1, Rian Johnson, 2, George Lucas's neck roll, and then 3, George Lucas.
And 4, Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, I couldn't forget him.
Hold on, we got to put Watto in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah, we love Watto.
I'm more of a Sebulba fan.
Who's Sebulba?
Yeah, wait. The pod racer.
You don't know who Sebulba is?
I forgot for a second. I was like, what? I'm sorry. They all have like stupid names like Dexter Jetster and stuff.
Sebulba. How dare you? How dare you? How
hey,
dare you
I'm
insult
a fan.
The genius of Sebulba?
Hey, what's the little crumb guy with Jabba the Hutt's tail in Return of the Jedi?
Salacious Crumb.
Exactly.
Is that really his name?
Yeah, it's
Salacious Why does he have a name?
I don't know.
Is he important enough to have a name?
I don't know if it needs a name or not, to be honest with you. A lot of the stuff is like, oh, and then everybody has a fucking species.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I bought a book one time that had all these bios, and I was even amazed. I'm like, who in the fuck is this? And it was somebody in the background.
Yeah.
In Return of the Jedi.
My favorite thing is that there's like this book about the red R2D2 unit that like explodes at the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
There's like a comic about him being like a Force droid or something.
Oh
yeah. My god.
That's a little too much. All right, well, we'll have plenty of podcasts to talk about Episode 2 and Episode 8 of Star Wars, and maybe Episode 1. That's obviously the third worst of those three. That's the best.
Of those three, yeah.
Of those three.
Of those three, like the ones, like... Never mind. Let's drop Star Wars.
We will not be talking about Episodes 4, 5, and 6. Those are terrible fucking movies.
Awful.
Yeah. Awful. Just absolute drizzling shits.
I mean, what was with that little short, wrinkly green prick? God, annoying.
That's my grandmother.
We do like Baby Yoda, though. We'll be talking.
Yeah, my grandmother was really cute when she was a baby.
Yeah, Baby Yoda.
Okay. So, we will be talking today about 1971's Duel, a ABC Movie of the Week. that was directed, and it was the first feature-length movie directed by Steven Spielberg, a.k.a. the man who made Jaws, a.k.a. George Lucas's best friend. I just got to add George Lucas in. I'm sorry.
I'm curious. You bring up Jaws specifically, but Steven Spielberg has made a lot of movies that are way better than Jaws.
But yeah, this podcast is aimed for people who are 84 to 74 years old.
They only know Jaws. And E.T.
They probably don't even remember fucking Jaws. They're like, yeah, what was the Jaws?
Yeah, I would
don't
have
have my
specifically
teeth.
brought up like E.T., but
I mean, if you
know.
Spielberg, but Jaws was the thing that came right after this movie.
this may sound like a stupid question, but who directed Jurassic Park?
Spielberg.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I just didn't want to sound like an idiot saying it.
Yeah, he did all three of those, and he's producing the new ones.
Right. Okay.
But-
anyway,
Yeah, so I mean, the only reason I brought up Jaws is because that was his first big hit of his career, and that's what put his name on the map. But this movie led him to getting that opportunity.
right.
And then the 84-year-old people listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, my grandmother, and she's not even 70 yet, but when she's 84, I want her to listen to this in 15 years.
Well, we'll probably all be dead in 15
This
years because the
podcast-
world is just slowly collapsing.
This podcast is like a time capsule.
It is.
It's for future generations.
Yeah.
And
At
it's
the
also like
current
for like
time,
condoms.
Yeah.
at the current time, we're all dying from coronavirus, and there's murder
Oh,
hornets running amok.
Okay, look, man, don't get political, for fuck's sakes.
It's not political. It's just
Listen,
what's
you're-
happening.
You're dating the podcast, all right? This is timeless.
This time, everybody else might be dead, but,
Timeless.
you know.
Space aliens.
Well, it's
are
kind of like
gonna find this.
at the end of... Go ahead, Cody.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, this is like the end... Was this like the beginning of The Thing? When Kurt Russell's recording himself, it's like, we don't trust each other, and I don't know, we're all going to die. Kind of like in Apocalypse Now, it's like our own little monologues that you didn't watch.
It'll be
You fell
it'll be
asleep.
watched before the next episode gets
We're
recorded.
going to
so,
mention the next episode before we even...
Yeah.
yeah.
This is a test episode that Cody didn't actually want to do. But it's already went off the fucking rails.
Hey,
Well, the test episode was a test episode for a reason,
Stop
but then
the
somebody
Stop
somebody
fighting!
went around telling everybody about it.
I don't like it when mom and dad fight.
It's
Okay.
It's okay. We'll spit roast you later to make up for it.
All right, I'm done.
Alright, so getting back to Duel, it was really Spielberg's second feature-length directing. He directed a episode of a TV show that was actually like an hour and a half long. I was from NBC. It was actually a really expensive TV show back then. It took like $375,000 to produce it. But this movie was like $450,000 to make. And they filmed it in 13 days. You really only had 10 days at the time to get the movie filmed, so you have extra time editing it and have it on ABC television that next Friday. So they only had like 4 days to edit this movie, and they originally put it on. And the movie was so successful that they added about 16 minutes of footage to make it an hour and a half, and they actually put it in theaters overseas, and it had a limited run in America here too. So, just trying to make sure, it was 90 minutes, the version we watched, which is, I guess, the only version that kind of exists that's not on YouTube. And
Right.
So, real quick, I'm going to start with Owen. When I suggested this movie, and I sent you the trailer, the YouTube trailer, that's not the real trailer.
Yeah.
But what did you have, coming from your age of 20 years old, what did you think going into this movie that's light years older than you?
I don't know. it looked a lot like just kind of like an old school like 70s, just horror movie. I guess it kind of reminded me of Jaws a little bit. It looks kind of like Mad Max with like
with the desert.
Yeah, with the desert and the cars and stuff. I don't know why, but for some reason it reminded me of that. And like the grainy quality of like 70s film and stuff. But yeah, I really did like enjoy watching the movie. I thought it was. I don't know.
It was. Oh, you ain't guess he was sounding super smart, but it's like it was enjoyable for something that old for you to watch.
Yeah.
Because most people your age is like, well, if it isn't made in 2000, I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, no, I was actually really impressed with like, like the entire movie's just one like car chase scene, and I think that's like really impressive.
Okay. All right, going to Cody, who was notorious before I met him that he wouldn't watch anything before 1992. And I introduced him to a number of older movies like Psycho 2, The Thing, Halloween 3, just to see if he would like them because I knew they were like more one-shot movies. And he actually dug them, so he'll give older movies a chance thanks to me. You're welcome, Cody. And I was just curious what you were expecting seeing the trailer and going into this movie.
Well, first, let me clarify that, yeah, preferably I used to only watch any things that were made in the 90s or later, but I did watch some other stuff like, like The Godfather and Goodfellas and other movies like that from back in the day. But as far as Duel goes, the more I've thought about it, to me it's impressive for a TV movie that came out of the 70s. Because there's even TV movies that have come around long past that are just garbage. And to me, I think that the movie, I don't know, maybe the television version was a little bit tighter, but I feel like the extended version, it kind of starts to drag in the middle. It has a lot of those samey kind of moments, you think that the main character's gotten away from the truck driver, but he's waiting around the corner. Okay, now they're on a chase, and then, you come back around and, he's gotten away from him again, and he's back around the corner, or he's coming up behind him. So I think that maybe the extended scenes or the added scenes may have been unnecessary, but without seeing the original cut of it, it's hard to say that for certain.
Yeah, well, from what I was on my research, the extended scenes were just a longer opening sequence, where they strap the camera to the bumper and it shows them leaving the garage and then driving through town and into the highway.
The radio thing.
Yeah, the radio thing, that opening sequence. And then the railroad crossing scene where he's trying to push them into the train. Dennis Weaver, the main actor, talking to his wife at the gas station / laundromat.
And the school bus
thing. And the school bus thing. Those were the only scenes they added on, and they did that in 2 days. So, you had 13 days original filming plus 2 extra days of filming. So, literally, this movie was filmed in 15 days and edited in, less than a week.
Yeah, what was the budget for this movie?
It was I think, $450,000, if not $475,000. I know it wasn't even $500,000.
Yeah, that's not a whole lot even for back then. That's really what's impressive about it is that it has such a small budget and tight filming time, but it's I don't know, and even for just a TV movie, it's shot so well and it's so high quality. Steven Spielberg, you can really see his talent come through.
Yeah, and he was just he always seemed like he was 60 years old, but he was a young kid. I watched pictures in this documentary as they were flashing him filming it, and he looked like a kid.
Wasn't he he was in his 20s or something?
Yes. But yeah, I get what you're saying. The whole few things is maybe it could have done without. I'd say the scene where he gets behind that overextended road and the truck passes him and he goes to sleep. And then, he wakes up because the train's right behind him. And the thing that I always sat there and thought, I'm like, how long was he sleeping? And how long was he driving? Because the sun never sets until the end of this movie.
Yeah, it is confusing. It makes it all seem like it happens in a matter of 2 hours. But, yeah, but I mean, but really though, because you got to think if he fell asleep, you would assume that he slept for, I don't know, 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
But you're right, like the time of day doesn't really shift all that much. And as far as scenes, I think the school bus scene could have just been left out. I actually like the scene at the railroad track.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I guess I see them adding that extended intro in the beginning to make it seem like more of a theatrical intro to the movie, or at least for the time, because a lot of movies back then had that long drawn out intro sequence.
I do agree with you on the school bus thing. It's like I didn't like any of those kids or the bus driver.
Yeah, that whole scene just seemed kind of annoying, and it was kind of, to me it seemed kind of silly that the truck driver came back around and was like watching him through the tunnel.
And then he helps out the school bus. Yeah,
he helps out the school bus. It's like, but you're trying to chase down and kill this other guy. Like, what? I don't know.
The crazy psycho killer also loves kids, dude.
Well, it seems like to everybody except for the rattlesnake lady that everybody thinks he's crazy because they've either not noticed the truck, or in these kids, in this bus driver's case, this truck helped them out. So if the cops were to question him, it's going to look like he's insane. And he's not going to be believable type of deal,
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think that the bus scene is just, I don't know. It just doesn't fit. And also, even though the kids are like asking him to push the bus with his car, and he insists that it won't work, like, why, if you're being chased down by a maniac, why would you even bother? Like, just drive off,
Yeah, he stopped a lot in this movie. It was like, okay, everything is good to go, guys. I'm going to stop right here for 20 minutes.
What did he get? I need a cheese sandwich.
On rye. R-Y-E bread. Rye.
Cheese sandwich, baby.
And it was disgusting. It was a piece of cheese with like lettuce and tomato.
That's what they ate in the summer.
A cheese sandwich is like something that a 5-year-old eats,
Can I have a peanut butter and jelly with the crust cut off, please?
With cheese on top, please? That's disgusting.
Can I get a glass of apple juice?
Do you have any Uncrustables in the back?
Hey, I still eat those
Uncrustables are good.
Okay. But anyway, so we got the sequence part. The vehicles that were used, they used 3 different cars, and they're all different variants of a Plymouth Valiant. Let's try to say that 3 times fast. I think one of the first one was a 68. I can't remember the years, but they were all pretty close to each other. The original truck was a 1955 Peterbilt 281. And then the additional scenes where you see the truck added onto it, like we talked about, the school bus, the railroad crossing, was a 1964 Peterbilt 351. And I saw 2 side shots of the truck, and the truck does look different, but with those scenes, you can't really tell a difference because your point of reference is just this big rusty truck.
Yeah, until you had told me about that, I never would have known that was the case.
And there's a nice dog cameo on the podcast.
Yeah.
So we got the trucks. Talked about the car. I guess
that poor car, by the way.
Oh my god! Well, that car is a badass.
Yeah.
I mean, the car shut off because it got so hot. He rolled down a hill in neutral, getting up to almost 70 miles a fucking hour, and then crashed into a stone mountain, and then got the damn thing started back up and drove off. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, yep. They don't make them like they used to.
Like my grandmother.
She's built.
Oh my god! I'm not gonna post this on Facebook. She'll see this, but oh god! But yeah, so I'll go to the only real main actor in the movie would be Mr. Dennis Weaver. He actually was, I believe, the president of the Actors Guild for about 2 years, which says a lot because you have to be elected to that position. He was a vegan before there were vegans. And he actually starred on, this is for people that are 84 years old. Shout out to you guys. Thanks for World War One or two. I guess it would be two now.
Or the War of 1812 also.
Or War of 1812. But Dennis Weaver played on 6 seasons of the awesome show Gunsmoke. And that show ran for 20 years on television. And I actually went from a 30-minute black and white show and it ended up an hour color show. Because I guess they made enough money they could start shooting color. But he was a deputy on that show, and that's kind of like, before this, he'd played in a couple movies, but his biggest, for the general public, his biggest recognition would probably be Gunsmoke. And I think a lot of times, especially generations before me, you're more comfortable watching movies with actors you know. It's like, you watch a Bruce Willis movie, you'll watch it because you've watched Die Hard. And you're like, I love Die Hard. That's probably what you remember him from. Whereas I think people in my generation and on will just watch a movie because it seems interesting. I think a lot of people before us kind of watch movies because of the actors.
There's also the director cult thing, Like nowadays, a lot of times we'll pick a movie out because of the director.
Yes, that is the thing.
Yeah.
Because everybody's really snooty about the Rotten Tomato shit. Like, they want their movie to have, this score of 99, and if not, then fuck you.
The Rotten Tomatoes circle jerk.
Yeah, the circle jerk. That felt good earlier, though.
Yeah.
This is definitely not going on Facebook. But anyway. But yeah, it's just I think a lot of the stuff is actors back then, it was like comfort food almost. And, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your granddad, they had their favorite actors in movies. I mean, John Wayne, for the longest time, that's why everybody loved his movies, because it was just a comfort thing. You could sit there and watch any of his movies. And that's probably your grandmother's favorite actor. Like one of my dad's favorite actors is Clint Eastwood. And he'll watch almost any Clint Eastwood movie that's ever made.
They're mostly all good, though.
I mean, Heartbreak Ridge is incredible, but you got Dirty Harry. I mean, that's kind of hit or miss. I'm just kind of like Dirty. I like Dirty Harry movies, but then you got the classic, the one where he makes his cameo debut, which is the creature from the Black Lagoon Part 3. Okay, I mean that's a real thing. You guys are no selling creature from the Black Lagoon. The thing in the rubber suit.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I just thought it was funny to be
But yeah, he had an uncredited cameo, and that was his film debut, was Clint Eastwood. Anyway, that has nothing to do with Dennis Weaver, and I'm going to try to get back on track. So, the movie starts out with what I think is a 4 or 5 minute cool intro with they obviously had strapped a camera into the front of this car, and it's almost like first person. You're the car driving through the roads, going from your house, going through the city, going out onto the main stretch of highway that he's driving. And I thought it was that's kind of unique because you don't actually see this day and age. You don't have a lot of first person thing, first person point of views, especially from the vehicle driving. So I thought that was pretty cool. What do you guys think about that?
I just kind of thought it was whatever. I mean, it seems like a shot that, at least by today's standards, it's not today's standards necessarily. Well, yeah, I mean, then that's what I'm basing it off of, is what I grew up watching and the movies I'm used to. And to me, it just seemed like like I said earlier, it just seemed like your typical 1970s sort of intro, just kind of long and drawn out. And yeah, I mean, it's cool that they had that first person perspective, but I mean, it wasn't extremely impressive in my opinion.
You didn't like the part where he says, "Play the meat." What a weirdo.
No. Yeah, the radio DJ or whatever was kind of annoying too.
I thought that it was him, when he was talking about the wife part, where he's like, "My wife, she runs it." I thought it was the main character calling in. I thought that was him.
He's got a bat phone. He's like, "Look, let me talk about my wife. She's a real bitch."
Oh yeah, I forgot it was the 70s. They don't have phones in their car.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have phones then. Yeah. That was before they were invented.
That's why
they
there's
had Telegram back then.
That's why there's like 13 payphones in the movie.
Yeah.
Especially one with the rattlesnake farm.
Yeah.
Man, we'll get to that part.
I thought the intro was like, it just kind of establishes him as like, he's just like an everyman. He's just doing what we all did, which is like a boring commute, to his work.
To the communist factory that you work for.
Yeah.
Okay, so they use a commute. I mean, it's a pretty fancy word.
Well, more so than anything, I don't think it really. It's not only that he's just an everyman. I think it's more so that he is like a very completely just unextraordinary, run of the mill guy that there's nothing really impressive about him. Not just a normal everyman, but even less so than that. Just to the point where
he's kind of a chump.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
I think that's like your everyday normal guy. Especially then, you're like, he's trying to hold on to what I'm assuming is holding on to his position at work. Because he feels like he's probably in a position of like, any little mistake he feels like will just knock him down the ladder for somebody that wants to take over his position. Because in this movie, he's trying to get back and get to this meeting so he doesn't lose his account, wherever the hell he's. Like, I don't even know what business he's working for. But his wife is always like, you said you get home before dinner.
And apparently he works, 150 miles away.
Man, this guy, he doesn't have a backbone.
Yeah. The thing that you mentioned that it's like he worked like 1,000 miles away. That's pretty funny. I think he was just trying to take like detours from the truck or something.
Or maybe
I don't
detours
know.
from his wife.
Well, you got to think, were interstates really a thing in the 70s?
Yeah, this was like post. Who's the guy who made the interstate? One of those World War II presidents, Eisenhower, I think. Yeah, so.
Dwight Eisenhower. I remember.
Yeah,
but
it was a cool dude.
It seems like maybe in the 70s though, even if interstates were a thing or they were starting to become a thing or whatever, that a lot of people still drove on highways. It's not like it is today where, it's almost faster to drive on some highways today than it is to take the interstate.
Because everybody's on the interstate.
Yeah, because everybody's on the interstate. But yeah, it just seems weird because going back to earlier how, we talked about how it seems like the movie lasts for hours even though the day doesn't change. Part of that I think is attributed to the fact that he's just driving what seemingly forever to get to his place of work. You would think that someone would want to work a little bit closer to home, maybe where they don't have to drive 4.5 hours to get there every day.
Maybe he just wants to get away from the wife.
Well, maybe because
we'll go ahead and get to the main conflict, which happens within 10 minutes of the movie starting, and he passes a truck.
Something everyone does,
except for Cody, because Cody drives like a grandma.
Wow! Shout out to our grandma fans.
Shout out to our 84-year-olds. But yeah, he just passes him. He doesn't do it in a dickish way. He just passes them, and he's just sitting there listening to, oh man, play meat and all this other stuff on the radio. And then all of a sudden, the truck driver passes him real quick, and then starts slowing the fuck down. And then that was your conflict, and then everything else is like, all right, car chase.
Yeah, we've all seen an asshole driver, but I guess the whole point is that this asshole driver takes it to the next level. And it's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you now.
Yeah, which is crazy.
But you see the truck, the license plate on the front of the truck, right? So it's kind of weird because it makes it look like maybe this isn't the first time that he's done this. That he has tried to hunt people down or has successfully hunted people down before and keeps their license plates as some sort of trophy. So maybe it was just one of those days where he thought it's a good opportunity to get another license plate.
See, I don't know if it's like he's taking the people's license plates or if he's just licensed in all these states and that's just what he goes around doing. Because when you get to the end of the movie, there's obviously nothing in his tanker because it's supposed to be flammable gas. And spoiler alert, when he runs off the cliff, the truck doesn't blow up, even though there's fire. So it's like he has all these license plates and he's registered in this like little southwestern area of the United States. So he can just go from state to state and killing people. So maybe he's a retiree who has a bunch of money and just spends it all on gas money for this truck just to go kill people. you know.
Yeah, but even the worn out state of the truck, it's old, it's beaten up, it's not clean.
I'm my grandmother.
So it seems like it's pretty obvious that he's not actually working for anybody. So I think
maybe that's why he's pissed off.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could be too.
It's just like fucking Eisenhower.
It's like, can't get a fucking job.
Yeah. Damn
fucking
Eisenhower.
Eisenhower. There's a fucking interstate.
I still remember you from all those years ago, you son of a bitch.
And the thing is, once he, they do the passing and then he passes him one more time and he thinks he's good to go, he stops off at that first gas station where he ends up calling his wife. Which Cody had an interesting theory about maybe that gas attendant took so fucking long with his red car that it pissed off the truck driver even more. And that maybe the truck driver was like, all right, I'm done when I get to this gas station. So he was done. But he waited so fucking long, which felt like 30 minutes. Yeah. He kept honking his horn and goes, no, I'm going to fuck this red car. I'm actually going to kill him. Cody?
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility.
It's like, I was done. I was cool. And that guy fucking with his radiator, fuck him. I'm going to kill him now.
I heard the son of a bitch needs his radiator hose and he didn't want to buy it, so I'm going to chase him down until it busts.
So he's part of their marketing team, for the gas station.
He finally catches up to him. He's like, "Here's that radiator hose they offered you earlier."
He was just trying to give him the radiator
hose. He's like, he probably voted for Eisenhower, cocksucker.
Piece of shit. I want a fucking radiator hose.
And then he takes the radiator hose and chokes him to death with it.
Beats him with it.
Well, there is. The radiator hose, I want to get back to that because there was a scene later on with the rattlesnake lady that, I watched it one more time before last week with my dad, this movie, and it looked like she was actually holding the radiator hose. But then the next scene, she's not. So I think the way they cut the movie, they probably were going to be like, well, she took out the radiator hose, that's why it leaked out the water. But, the hose was already busted. It's really weird because, the hose, he says, you can use a new radiator hose, sir. And he's like, where have I heard that before? Like you always do when you go to Valvoline. You get your oil change. You're like, hey, would you like to spend another $300 on this? They're like, no, we're fine. But this one time, you probably should have spent the money.
Yeah. Oh, where have I heard that before? Now get out of my way, bum. I got to go get a cheese sandwich.
And the truck driver's like, what an asshole. I'm going to run him down.
Cheese sandwich? What a fucking baby.
You vote for Eisenhower? I'm stuck on Eisenhower now.
Cheese sandwich and a glass of water? What the fuck? And an aspirin?
But
what are you, 75?
Hey, shout out to our 84-year-olds.
Yeah.
This podcast is for you.
This podcast is brought to you by 84-year-olds.
And what are products 84-year-olds use?
Drink your prune juice.
Depends. Prune juice, which is kind of like a self-fulfilling thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a cycle, a vicious cycle.
Watch, we're gonna end up getting an actual fan base of nothing but 80-year-olds. So all of the sponsors we get in the future are gonna be shit like Life Alert and what is that Insure or whatever that vitamin drink that they have to drink.
Depends. Prune juice.
And Blue Chip.
And Blue Chip.
Have you ever been walking through the grocery store and accidentally crapped your pants? Depends is here for you.
Oh God. Oh, I got a joke for you guys. You ready for it?
No.
Oh, it's not a bad joke. I promise.
I'm ready though.
Okay. It's in a nursing home. Old man goes into an older woman's room and says, I bet you can't guess how old I am. She goes, I bet you I can. Drop your pants. He does it. She goes, you're 89 years old. He goes, geez, you're right. How'd you know? She goes, you told me at breakfast. Owen doesn't get the joke. He's an Alzheimer's patient.
I get it now.
He gets it. All right, so back to the movie before Eisenhower was elected. When he gets chased by the truck, he keeps slowing down every time. Like he'll pass it and it's like, oh, it's over. Like he just had an orgasm.
He does sound like he has orgasms all throughout the movie.
He's like,
he's always like,
get the. He says, "Get that fat ass truck off the road." But he keep passing, then he'll slow down. I'm like, anytime I'm on the interstate and I'm hitting 90, and I just pass somebody I know I pissed off, I'm gonna keep on 90 for a while, because they'll eventually just give up.
He says he like fucking zones out and then he slows down and goes to like what 35 or some shit. Like,
Well, he said he goes back to 65, not 35.
I thought he said like he goes back to like 45 or 35 or some shit, and I was like, who does that?
I mean, if he did that, I would strangle him.
Yeah,
on the interstate.
Well, you know there are drivers that definitely do that shit,
and I want to strangle them.
They're like, "Oh, I'm just zoning out, going 20 into 60." Those are the people who you want to get run over by a fucking semi.
Oh, I got another quick story. Like, you guys want to hear this? I was going to visit Cody, which, you know, he lives in an undisclosed location in the state of Tennessee. Springfield.
Area 51.
Florida,
Tennessee.
Illinois, where the Simpsons live.
But I remember there's a long stretch of highway that is like 55 miles an hour. Well, I get stuck behind this truck going 45. And I just so happen, we got a time constraint with Owen because he has to clean his butthole.
Yeah. Very. Why is your time fucked up on your computer?
Look, I didn't want to use my computer. But anyway, the story was I got stuck behind somebody going 45 miles an hour, going to Cody's house, and I had to take a poo. It was miserable.
We've all been there.
It was 25 minutes, though. I don't think you understand. Remember, I ran up to your porch?
I understand, because there have been times where I'm gone for work or whatever, and I'm on my way to the next location, and it's like an hour and a half drive in between, and I'm thinking, oh, I'll be fine, I can make it, and then I have to like pull off and run into a grocery store and run around the entire grocery store, just to find out that if I would have walked in the grocery store and looked the opposite direction of the way I ran, it would have been the bathroom right there.
Does the guy ever pee in the movie?
No, he doesn't.
Oh my god.
No.
I mean, you think the water would have ran right through him.
Yeah, the cheese sandwich and the water.
Yeah.
And an aspirin, too.
All right.
Well, the bread soaked up the water, so.
Oh, okay. Well, what about
this? It's rye bread, though. It's already soaked up.
He's got a shit, too.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure his pants are not naturally brown.
He's probably like shit and pissed himself so much throughout the movie. That's why he never does.
The cheese stops it up.
Oh my god. All right, real quick. We got like 10 minutes to finish this main discussion. So, he crashes into a fence trying to veer off the road and get into this parking lot at this diner. But one thing I noticed about this diner was that there was a lot of instructions to get to their bathroom. There's like, look, down the hall, to the left, go through the door, second door on your left, go right, down the hall.
Up the stairs.
And go down the stairs. And you'll be back where you were, but there's the bathroom. You have to do all that. It was crazy instructions. Like, man, I would have just shit myself.
Yeah, I would have dropped a trowel right there and been like, here's what I think of your fucking cheese sandwich, bitch.
This isn't even fucking rye bread.
You call this an aspirin?
And then, but you know, he looked at each truck driver in the diner and he was really perplexed, like it could be any one of them. And he had the montage, which Owen had the great idea that he was like planning out to ask him out.
Oh, yeah.
Owen said he looked like he was like, how do I ask these guys out on a date? And Cody's just smiling a little bit.
The scene does a good job of making the viewer believe that the truck driver's actually there. Because for one, all those truck drivers at the bar or whatever have the same pair of boots on.
Yes.
Which I guess they were just common pair of boots back in that time. But and it even lingers on one of their faces for a good few seconds, making you think that, at least it made me believe that was the truck driver. But of course, you know, you see him leave the bar or the diner or whatever and get out and get to a different truck and drive off.
But that one that you're talking about, he actually walked around the truck, touched the bumper like he was about to jump into it, and then got in his little small truck and drove off. Because you thought that was the guy. I remember Cody was like, well, that's obviously him. And it wasn't. It was great.
Yeah, it does a very good job of making you think.
I thought it was the guy with like he's like had like some tore up jeans like near his heel. Like, because I think they showed that at the beginning of the movie, right?
Yeah, they showed the guy's
boots. They showed his boots, and I think he has like torn blue jeans like at his heels. And I thought that like one of them was him, like not the one that he thought it was twice.
Yeah. Well, the thing, I wish, because they did a good job of the montage. He's talking to himself, like trying to walk through, like how am I going to confront these guys, and then maybe ask them on a date.
Yeah.
But how do I put this? I wish it would, because he's obviously looking at everybody's boots to see if he can remember the other truck driver's boots, because he sees them, but he's not paying a great deal of attention to them because his mind is distracted when he first sees them. Because he's looking at everybody, he's looking at their boots. It's like, maybe this is the guy. I wish they'd done a better job of him trying to remember what those boots look like. Like, maybe play back the memory in his head like you would if you were trying to remember something, but it's just fuzzy.
What if they what if they did that shot in the beginning of the movie, but they put the boots of the guy that he's looking at in it?
Yeah. They probably should have. I don't know, though. But other than that, it was really good. That one guy kicks his ass because he knocks his sandwich. Look what he did to my sandwich.
He was so stupid, too. He's like, let's just cut it out. And he never, says exactly, stop trying to fucking kill me.
He's just mad because I got meat on my sandwich.
Fucking vegans.
You fucking vegans. But then he, goes off down the road and it's, still cat and mouse. He runs into that school bus scene, which all those kids seem like brats. And the truck driver's like, hey, you take that small little car and you push up against my big bus. I get started. Like, what kind of fucking logic is that?
I don't know what the hell was going on.
That's like you trying to pick me up, Owen. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just use the 25 kids he had on the bus to push the damn bus?
Slave labor.
Look, kids, if you don't want to sit in the hot desert heat all day, then you're going to push this damn bus.
You get out there, kids. That truck driver had some fucking huge fucking teeth. He could have just used those teeth to push the bus. But we get through that. A lot of more chasing scenes, which, like I said, the chase scenes are really well done. I'm not going to sit there and detail them, because if anybody's going to watch this movie, hopefully they watch it before they listen to this podcast and they come away with something. But I thought the chase scenes were really good.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of cuts and stuff with the chase scenes.
Yeah, and there's not much you can really detail in it besides he was being chased down a desert highway.
Yeah. It looked good.
Yeah, I mean, it was shot really well and everything. It's just there's not a lot of detail to it.
And that radiator hose came back to bite him in the ass.
It went.
Yeah, and then the trucker comes back and sees it.
He's
the
trying
main
to
character. Yeah, he's trying
to
to call the cops or whatever, and he ends up destroying the rattlesnake cages and the phone booth and everything.
Which is really odd that woman had all that. She goes, "Look at this! This is the only kind of entertainment we got.
Look at my snakes.
You want to look at my snake?" He's like, "I got you a snake right here." Oh, okay. I thought we lost Cody for a second.
No, I'm here.
But yeah, the radiator hose bites him in the ass. I thought it was cool when it finally went, and the car keeps getting warmer and warmer and warmer as he's trying to get up that hill. And he's like, come on. He's over here just beating down his steering wheel because he's freaking out. And he finally reaches the summit of the mountain that he's driving up. And then he just starts coasting. And I was telling somebody, I think it was my dad, it's really impressive that he's doing all this, because these vehicles back then didn't have power steering. So it was all this really loose steering. And then as soon as I said that, he crashed into the fucking wall. And then just kept driving, but it was like a big bumper car, boom! I'm like, well, I guess that really isn't that impressive if he can't fucking keep going.
Yeah, the stunt driver in this movie, that's just pretty fucking impressive what he's doing. He's swerving all over the place. He really makes it look like he's really freaking the fuck out while he's driving.
Yes. Yeah, what about you, Cody?
I mean, yeah, it was impressive. That was probably, out of all the chase scenes, that scene right there is probably the best scene in the movie. because a lot of the other ones are just your standard driving down the road, trying to avoid getting knocked off the road by the truck or whatever. But the coasting scene was actually pretty intense, and which of course after he crashes, he just gets out, stumbles out like nothing. I mean, he's dazed, but it's not like it really did a whole lot to him, which is also kind of crazy considering he was going so fast.
Have you guys ever went down a hill in neutral at like 60 miles an hour?
No.
I've done it, and I've got up to like 35 before I actually put my foot on the brake because I was so scared. It wasn't even that big of a hill.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me put it in neutral because I got a manual transmission. Put it in neutral. I got up to like 35. Like, nope, can't do this. I was actually getting scared. But I was about to careen into the river. So that's why I had to like kind of put the foot on the brake. But anyway, he somehow gets it down the hill. Car's still not running. He crashes into the mountain. And magically, as the truck gets closer and closer and closer, he finally gets the damn thing started up somehow. Because this thing has it's got no radiator fluid left. Or water, whatever they got into it right now. I mean, chances are, man, if it's a piece of crap car and he's cheap, he's probably got water in it in the desert time. So
you got cheese sandwiches.
He's got my cheese sandwiches. That's what we don't have a radiator hose. We have a bunch of cheese that's kind of fried and put there. But he gets up the hill. He does this kind of like Fast and Furious standoff with the truck as it's coming up the hill and hits the gas. Somehow grows a pair of balls and puts his suitcase on the gas pedal and just jumps out of the car. Like this is completely out of character for what he would probably do, safe wise. Obviously, it's the only way to survive. And the truck driver goes careening off, and there's a faint dinosaur noise as he's careening off the mountain. And then the whole, it's really hollow music playing as the truck is finally settling after it's wrecked. And the car is no longer on fire, which was kind of weird. You expect it to continue to be on fire. But it's like, let's put this fire out and continue filming the scene is what they almost did. But other than that, like I said, it was really cool. I thought when I was watching it as a kid, the scene when you see the truck falling off the hill, and they had to do that in one take, or falling off the mountain. They had to do that in one take. So you see the door open. I thought the truck driver escaped, and he was going to sneak up on Dennis Weaver as Weaver's looking at the truck. But I guess you're not supposed to pay attention to that part.
Yeah, it's just the limitations of their budget, and
it's the stunt driver just escaping.
Right.
So, but that was the end of it. And I always thought to myself, like, what would the cops say when they showed up to the scene? Like, what happened here? How does he explain to everybody they're going to talk to, except for maybe the rattlesnake lady? Is going to sit there and say, "This dude's fucking nuts."
And the rattlesnake lady's already fucking nice. So.
I mean, she has rattlesnakes.
I think theoretically the rattlesnake lady should be enough because she has, the property is destroyed, and she very clearly witnessed the truck driver destroying it. So I think even if everyone else thought that he was just like, well, we thought he was just crazy or being paranoid or whatever, that should be enough evidence to verify his story.
You know how stupid cops are, though.
Well, yeah, they can be.
Yeah. But not back in 1971. I watched a bunch of Dragnet, so they were smart.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. I watched the Naked Gun movies, telling how smart cops can be.
Was Hill Street Blues in the 70s? Was that age?
I don't even know what show that is. You probably know more about that than I do.
We all know that the smartest cops are in the other guys.
Yeah. I just watched that the other day. Anyway, that might be a movie for another episode. Who knows?
We have to talk about when they used footage from this movie and put it into a fucking episode of the 1970s Incredible Hulk.
No. They filmed an alternate ending, and Dennis Weaver turned into the fucking Hulk.
Oh, yeah. That's how I forgot.
Oh, that's an actual thing for this movie?
No, it's not.
Well, you didn't show Cody.
I probably forgot.
We should have showed you.
Yeah, we'll send it to you, but there's like a 2-minute clip, and it shows the red car and you see the truck convening down the mountain. All of a sudden, the fucking car door gets kicked off, and the Hulk comes out.
Yeah, what they did was since ABC owned both the movie and like the Incredible Hulk TV show, they just used footage from this movie and they put it into the TV show as like just stock footage. So like it's the same damn truck and it's the same car, except instead of what the hell is the main character's name? Dennis Weaver. Instead of Dennis Weaver coming out of the car, it's fucking Bruce Banner, and he fucking turns into the Hulk and throws the car at the truck.
And that's the show that had an actor play Bruce Banner, and then Lou Ferrigno play the Hulk. They painted up his skin and had to put a wig on and stuff like that. He's a big bodybuilder.
Right.
But that's how Hulk Hogan got his name, because he was on a television show, and Hogan was so steroid up that he was bigger than Ferrigno. Like, dude, you're bigger than the Hulk. And that's where he got the Hulk part. It was Hulk Hogan name.
The Incredible Hulk.
But yeah, that was great. Like, Owen sent that to me. I'm like, my God, that's hilarious. He's just like, brrr, and the door comes off, and the Hulk comes out. I'm like, oh shit, it's a new ending.
That's great.
But, so, overall, you know, my dad is the one that introduced me to this movie. I never heard of it, and I'm like, ooh, a movie about a tractor trailer truck. I'm cool with that. And to be honest with you, I've enjoyed it more and more since I've watched it. I mean, I first watched it when I was probably 16, when I was starting to drive, ironically. But it's gotten better with age, because I appreciate all the work that went into just pretty much 13 days. I mean, I can't do that much work in 13 days. I couldn't do that much work in 13 years probably that they did on this movie. But it's one of those things that's like, you know, I really appreciate the movie. It's something I got a chance to watch with my dad. And I guess at the time when we were like bonding as you get older with your dad, because, you know, you're closer to your mom when you're younger, then you get closer to your dad and you get older. Unless your dad's a douchebag. But, or your grandmother's a douchebag. I love your grandma.
Shout out to the grandma.
Shout out to the grandmas and the 84-year-olds. And, but, you know, I watched this movie and I was like, man, when we were talking about doing a test episode for this podcast, I was like, well, this movie's only an hour and a half. And I was like, well, let's just go ahead and suggest that. And, you know, I was happy I was able to get you guys to actually watch this movie, because, hell, I have had 4 girlfriends who said no. All within the same time. I had 4 girlfriends. I'm just kidding.
All at once.
No, that was over the course of 40 years. I had 4 girlfriends.
84 years.
84 years, sorry. I'm 84 years old. This is why I keep shouting out my peeps.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Cody. And Cody, give me your final thoughts. And would you recommend this movie? What would you give it as just a rating? And don't give me no 3.75 out of 7.
Give us Rotten Tomatoes scores.
No. I want you to give me Rotten Tomatoes, actually.
Real ones.
Real ones. Be like, you gave me 4? What the fuck?
This better be certified fresh.
Exactly.
This movie's like I said in the beginning, it's impressive especially for being a television movie. I don't think that as a theatrical movie it's that impressive.
Piece of shit.
As far as whether or not I would recommend it, it really just depends. If you're into older movies, then yeah. But if you're looking for an older movie to like try and get you into that era of film, then this wouldn't be one to go with.
What about if you're into older women?
There's only the one old woman. No, there's 2. There's the diner waitress, I guess.
No. I'm talking about, like, if you're into older women right now, would you like this movie?
I don't think that would have any effect on
soft maybe.
It might.
Unless she just gets off by watching Duel.
Well, it's not so much her getting off. It's like, you know, her bedtime might be 7 p.m. I'm talking about 84-year-olds.
Yeah. Oh. Shout out to the 84-year-olds.
The 84-year-olds.
This episode is going to be, in quotation, Duel, or in quotation, shout out to the 84-year-olds.
Shout out to the peeps in the nursing home.
But what kind of rating would you give it, Cody?
What are we doing out of 10?
I guess out of 10.
I would just say recommend or no recommend.
No, I want him to piss me off.
Okay, piss him off. Do it.
I don't know. I'd say a 7 out of 10. That feels about right.
6 out. That's a good score. Yeah. That's over 5. 7's good. I have to fart.
Okay, edit that part out. So, Owen, as a 20-year-old
girl,
what did you feel about this movie? And just to let you know that mustache is growing in very lovely.
Thanks. I really liked it. I thought, like I said, Steven Spielberg's talent really shows through. This movie does what Jaws did for sharks, for pickup trucks. I mean, semis. But no, I really liked it. I think it was a good movie. Even despite the budget and its really limited scope, I think it's a good flick.
You feel like they maximized what they had to work with?
Yes, definitely. What they had, with the budget and the time, and the fact that it's just a fucking made-for-TV movie. Yeah.
I'm laughing because Owen is pushing away a fart he just did.
Yeah.
So it's incredible. I wish we were recording the actual video of this, but we're not. So, would you recommend it?
Yes. What do you want me to give a fucking wrong?
Just out of 10. You don't have to piss me off.
I want to do it out of 9.
Okay.
6 out of 9.
6 out of 9. What the hell is that kind of rating?
6 9.
So basically,
is that a good score?
So basically, a 66%.
No, I guess I don't know. Maybe I might go 7 out of 10 too. Maybe. I don't like fucking scores. I just recommend this movie.
Okay.
Calm down. All right, settle down.
So for me, I would definitely recommend the movie. Watch it one time because I suggested it. Yeah. And most of the movies I suggest are fucking great.
They were incredible.
The
next one. What's the next one we're doing?
Your movie, Apocalypse Now.
I mean, that's the next one that you're recommending.
Oh, I'll get to that in just a second, fucker.
Right.
But I give this movie for it being a TV movie. If you would rank them out of TV movies, it'd be a 10 out of 10. If you would do it from something from the 70s, I'd probably give it a 7 or 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
And that's really all I can judge it. I'm not going to judge it against. I'll judge it against a sci-fi movie. Like a sci-fi TV movie, like their little Sharknado. I'll judge it against that. But I'm not going to judge it against Avengers.
Yeah, Sharknado is another made-for-TV movie. But I mean, with its contemporaries, what are its contemporaries? Fucking Stephen King movies from 8, It had the budget of a fucking ham sandwich.
It did, and this movie really inspired a lot of knockoffs.
It is
Maximum Overdrive. Nah, I'm just kidding. That's not really all that song. I mean, there's killer semis, but that's about it.
I did read when I was going through the references of the Wikipedia page. Shout out Wikipedia. But they were going through a review, and I clicked on it. In the 2016 review, someone said that this is probably the greatest made-for-TV movie of all time, just because of the value of the production and the rip-offs that spawned from it. It's kind of like Halloween's this movie that spawned Friday the 13th, and slashers galore, and it's kind of it's not. I'm not comparing it to Halloween, but I'm just saying from its viewpoint, made for TV movies, people will try to copy it like they did Halloween or Psycho. But our next episode will be hopefully recording to Cody next week.
We're just roasting Cody this episode.
Yeah, so I guess I'll handle this part.
You can handle it.
So basically the plan is to do it every 2 weeks, to have an episode up every 2 weeks.
We got to get them recorded.
Right. Well, that's the thing.
Recording right now.
Well, so the deal is record, release. Now these first couple episodes will be a little different. So it'll be record, we'll release this one. So if anyone's listening to this, then obviously it's out. And then Apocalypse Now will be out the week after this one. But then after that, it'll be a 2-week cycle. So it'll be record one Saturday, publish the next, record the next, publish the next.
And this episode will probably be just listened to by you and Owen. I'm not going to re-listen to it.
I probably won't listen to it either. I don't like the sound of my
own
voice.
I'll have to listen to it because I'm editing it. So.
Yeah, you'll be editing it.
You get all the responsibility.
Shout out to my other best friends, Alex and Jacob. They will be listening to this episode and hopefully critiquing it. They have their own podcast called WrestleMania Huh, where they stop after one episode. They try to review the WrestleManias edition by edition. But anyway, so next week we'll hopefully be recording Apocalypse Now, which is a fucked up movie, but good. I don't know how you can really describe good and fucked up at the same time, but that's what this movie is. It's somewhere in between the good and fucked up.
We have to save it.
Yeah, we'll get into that on that episode. But yeah,
there's
the next
a fucking
episode,
huge anaconda that kills everybody in this movie.
Oh yeah,
Scarlet.
Yeah, so the next episode's Apocalypse Now,
and
then it'll be The Grudge.
Yes.
The 2004
American
The Grudge
version, right?
Yeah, not the 2020 reboot or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Now, are you gonna try to watch the Japanese version of that movie as well?
No, I'll probably save that for a later thing, because I think if we do the Grudge movies over time, it'll be the 3 American ones, and then maybe even that 2020 one, the 2020 American one that came out. But I don't think, because Ju-On is a movie that we could also just watch separately, you know.
I mean, I won't, but you guys got it.
Guys, I have to poop really bad.
Anyway, we got Apocalypse Now, and then The Grudge, and I'm probably going to suggest probably something funny, just to get this crazy shit out of my head you guys have been making me watch. But anyway, so that's it for this episode.
Alright, let's wrap this shit up. I gotta poop.
Okay, Cody, make sure you leave in the pooping part.
Yes, please leave that in.
I'll leave in the pooping part.
Alright, well, guys, it's been fun. We'll hopefully see each other next week if Cody watches the fucking movie. But if he doesn't, we'll officially make Cody just a guest star on this podcast, and it'll just be me and Owen's show at this point.
That's how you like it anyway, huh? You piece of shit.
Hey, I got up at 3 o'clock this morning and watched that fucking movie. So I'm like, well, we got to do 2 podcasts today. And Cody goes,
well, it's probably
I watched
best
15 minutes. I fell asleep.
It's probably best that we didn't anyway, because it's, you know, Owen's on a time crunch, and he's also got to take a poop really bad. So
shit, I'm about to shit my fucking pants right now. Let's fucking end this. All right. On three, we say bye.
On 3, we clap and say bye. 3, 2, 1.
Bye.
Bye.